So this morning we have Kimberly Claytor, who is the current president of NMFT, Newport Mesa, I almost said Unified School District, Federation of Teachers, and has been for 8 years. And before that, you were secretary, right? That was when I was on the e-board.
Yeah.
And then also before that, you were a teacher, science teacher at Estancia.
Science teacher at Estancia.
And then there was something about UCI.
Prior to teaching at UCI, I worked for the College of Medicine at UC Irvine as a staff research associate. And I was one of the local union leaders.
Sounds like
at the University Professional Technical Employees. I was
yeah.
vice president of that.
I couldn't say all that.
I know.
So
we say UPD.
Yeah. So, and that sounds like a really quiet job compared to this one. Compared to yours, anyway. Okay, so I have questions.
Okay.
All right. So, what do you think is the most important issue for teachers in the district right now?
Well, always salary and benefits, right? Because this is our livelihood. So salary and benefits is the thing that we do, and it takes care of our livelihood at home, outside of the school. That covers all of the bargaining unit members. So salary and benefits, and we're in negotiations right now for salary and benefits every year. And I think you said, what are we doing to solve it, or was
that was the next. That was
the other part.
So the question really was, what are the biggest problems?
Okay, so I want to say salary and benefits, but that's sort of a given.
Yeah.
Okay, so but what I think besides salary and benefits, the thing that teachers and nurses, librarians, psychologists, name it, and all the people that are in our bargaining unit, the thing I think that is really important for them is, at least what I hear as important for them, is to be heard, right? They want to be heard by their union, they want to be heard by the district, they want to be heard by their parents, the students, their colleagues. We're in this profession because we have something to offer, and our bargaining unit members are extraordinarily talented. They are so incredibly generous and giving, and to be heard is something that is important to them.
Yep. So how do you plan to solve this problem about being heard?
So the to be heard part,
Yeah.
right? So the salary and benefits, obviously, that's in
Right.
negotiations, and we have a contract campaign, and
Right.
everybody should be involved in that. So to the to be heard part. So I know that what I do as the local president, what I always want to make sure that I do is, if someone calls, of course I want to hear them. I sit, I listen, I have long conversations with our bargaining unit members. Sometimes they're about individual issues that no one else knows about, right? So they need to be heard. And then on bigger issues that, say, impact a whole group of people, what we've done, and I think that's been effective, is we've set up meetings that, say, for our nurses or our speech and language pathologists, or the first grade teachers at a particular school, or all fourth grade teachers, or so any group, we set up meetings so that we can hear them, and then we help to figure out what it is that we can each do to help resolve whatever problem it is, or to make things better, or to and one of the things that we might do is, say for instance, it's something that maybe is a district responsibility. It's not really in the purview of the union. We can bring in district administrators to hear our members and hear what their concerns are. And that has actually proven to be an effective way of connecting the people with the authority to resolve the problem, right? So it might be a district-wide problem, and that maybe human resources needs to hear about. And while of course I can explain it to the district, and of course I do, it's always better to hear it straight from the source. So that actually is one of the
We've
ways.
actually set up those meetings.
We have, and they've resulted in changes that have made a difference in the lives of our bargaining unit members. So some things that the union, like I said, doesn't necessarily have authority over, but because we can connect the right people together, it helps to resolve the problem.
Okay. As president, what do you think your relationship with the district should be?
I think our relationship should be respectful, mutually respectful. We have, we're all humans, we're all people trying to make a living, we're all doing work, and so of course we have to be respectful of each other's work. And what that looks like is, one, understanding each other's roles, right? So, I have a role to represent our members and to bring their issues forward. And the district has a role in, let's just talk about, the district level administrators. Okay, so they have their role, recommending policies to the school board, implementing those policies when those policies are adopted, making sure that the resources are available to our the school sites, to our teachers when those policies are being implemented, supervising principals, so those are district level type work. I mostly work with the human resources department in terms of, because the biggest part of my job locally is not just negotiating the contract, but defending the contract, shall we say, right? So, and of course our contract impacts all of our bargaining unit members. We spend a whole lot of time as well, helping individuals with individual issues, but of course defending our contract is the thing that we do that impacts everyone. Yeah. So we have to have, a respectful relationship between the administrators, and that happens. That's at the school site too. If you think about when you're at a school site, you've got to respect your principal, right? And you need respect from your principal, and so it goes both ways. And we know that we do our best work when we're in a respectful environment. So that is, I think, the foundation of any functional relationship that we would have. Yeah, with the district.
Okay. So, sounds reasonable. So
reasonable enough,
yeah.
Right?
So
I gotta say though, let me just add that Fred Navarro has actually made, I think, good, choices in hiring Russell Lee Sung and Leona Olson. They're both really delightful to work with. They're very reasonable, very respectful.
I don't know who the second one
Leona
is.
Olson is the director of human resources.
Oh.
So she's John Drake was in that position, and now he's in the secondary ed department.
Right.
At any rate, I just wanted to say that this is sort of something that you have to do as president, is get used to a turnover in administrators, which of course, since I've been president, we had, first it was, I don't think I was president when Lori McCune was head of human resources, but I definitely had
You weren't.
Yeah, I think that was Jim Rogers, but I had some interactions with her.
Linda
too.
Linda
right,
Moore.
yeah. Linda and then Jim. After Lori, there was interim, John Caldecott was interim for a brief time, and then it was Liz Novak. Following Liz Novak was John Caldecott again, and then following John Caldecott, of course, is Russell Lee Sung. So as president, you're constantly developing, you have to develop new relationships all the time. Yeah. And so it's really important to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And with our members too. Yeah. Our members, you're constantly dealing with new members, and so building those relationships.
So you have 1,100 teachers, right?
About yeah. We actually have about 1,400 total.
Wow.
If you count all the part-time, you count all the different positions
but
that
all
we cover.
covered by the union.
All covered by the union contract. Okay. Yeah. Part-time, full-time. Like I said, the nurses, SLPs, librarians, psychs. Any of the certificated non-management employees are covered under our contract.
Communication is always important, right?
Yeah.
So how do you plan to communicate to more than, now I'm shocked to hear 1,400 people that come under the contract or come under the union part of the contract.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? I don't know. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's communication is always the, it's, you can never do enough, right? So we've got mass emails that we send out, and that's one form of communicating general, information that is sort of easy to digest. As you know, we've got our site rep meetings, so we maintain communication with our site reps, and this is just general stuff, right? When meetings are, we've got flyers that go out. But one of the things that we did, and we've actually been experimenting with different meeting types. Like this year, we've had our roundtable discussions at the pizza parlor, and those proved productive for a small number of folks, and that's okay, right? Last year, we did zone meetings at different. We did our site rep meetings at different school sites, and that was actually okay because we kind of got some members that wouldn't necessarily have shown up to our other meetings, but then it didn't help with getting a full, the quorum of site reps. So we brought our site rep meetings back to the union office. So that's, those meetings are ways of communicating. Most important though, kind of going back to our members want to be heard, that I think the most important thing is listening. And so in communication, you've got to listen. And then when I hear something that I can act on, I need to act. And I need to, we need to empower each other to get the work done that we need to get done. So listening and helping people understand where their power is, and helping people understand where the union's power is, and where we can do things even if we don't necessarily have power.
Right. So, and you know what? Fear is such a huge issue, I think, in this district, and it has been for a long time. It hasn't just been, since Navarro. It hasn't just, but it may have increased, and I don't know. You would have to tell me, but it's huge, and I don't know. Many teachers don't want to speak out. How do you address that? How would you address that fear?
Part of that comes in, sometimes it's just one-on-one conversations, right? But something I've noticed is that teachers are inherently helpers, right? I mean,
they are.
We, if you sort of think about the different sort of energies that we can tap into inside of ourselves, right? We can tap into I'm a fighter, right? Or I'm a helper. There's different kinds of ways that we are, and I don't know of a teacher who's not a helper, and we do it so much every single day that finding a way to sort of step out of that helper mode and into it's okay to be a helper and a fighter. It's okay to, stand up for what I think is right, and to help people find the connection between the work that they're trying to do and how it's right to maybe fight to get that work, to make that work better, and to make the working environment better, to make our community better. Sometimes you kind of need that other landing pad to get across that bridge, and so those things come, and getting over that bridge, I think is kind of the fear, right? And people need experiences. You don't want to just jump. Oh, you can't get over the Golden Gate Bridge before you get over the Creek Bridge, right? You got to build up to that. So hopefully union work helps our members have the experience that they need to build the courage that everyone needs. And then when we do it together, and we've got a bunch of little bridges that everyone's crossing together, I think that helps also when you're doing union work. Obviously, is doing things together, so I think that helps to alleviate the fear or the fear factor.
Kimberly, why do you think you'd be the best choice for president this time around?
This time around, yeah, I think that I gotta say, this is the first time I've had a challenger, right? No one's ever run against me before. So, and, this work is so intense. It's so incredibly intense and time consuming, and it's exhausting, right? Mm-hmm. So first I was like, that could, this is kind of an opportunity for me to really think about, all right, what do I want to do? Mm-hmm. Right? So I had to do some self-reflection on this and then I've got two challengers, right? So, and both very good, strong union members, so I don't really want to compare myself to either one of the other opponents or, because we're all in this together. And I think that we all want what's best for our
let's
union.
not replicate what's going on right now in the national.
No, we're not doing
let's
that.
Let's not do that.
No, that's not, I don't think so. So, partly the thing that I think is important to elect me is because I do have the experience and the relationships, not just in the district. I have built relationships in the entire county and the state that actually help us. In some ways, those relationships are not immediately known by our members, but that's one thing that I have that is different than the others, are relationships with a multitude of people and institutions that benefit our members. Mm-hmm. The down and dirty, defending the contract, we've got, the other candidates have both been on the negotiations team. They both know how to defend the contract. It's just the difference, I think, like I said, is what I've done over the last 8 years is, build and broader and broader and broader this circle of influence and that comes from relationship building. And you never know when you're going to need those relationships and how they're going to help you. Mm-hmm. I know that I have been able to help others with their struggles. And when I call on others to come to our struggles, they're there. Mm-hmm. When we had a big rally and called for a lot of folks to come to the school board meeting actually it was probably 2 years ago now. And we needed support from the community on this. All I had to do was make one phone call. And we had a whole bunch of people show up from those relationships that I've built. So, the biggest difference, I've got experience. I know that that experience has allowed me to know when to, sort of appropriate responses to different situations. And again, not that the other candidates cannot learn those things as well. Mm-hmm. I've just already, I feel that it's kind of like being a teacher, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you're a brand new teacher and you come out of college and you're all enthusiastic and you get into the classroom and you work. But, your first couple of years of teaching, 5 years maybe, you're working until midnight every night because, not to say that I don't work till midnight mm-hmm. most nights, but and not to say that veteran teachers don't work really late all the time, but the different kind of work that you've done when you reflect. Mm-hmm. So you're a 5-year teacher, 10-year teacher, 15-year teacher, and you reflect on your early years of teaching and go, wow, I wonder why I did that. Mm-hmm. I do this and it works every time. Mm-hmm. So you grow in that way as a president as well. Right. So
Kimberly, it's so great to have you, and good luck.
Thank
you. I forgot to ask you. Do you have a website or anything?
I don't have a website.
Do you have anything else?
I have flyers that I've got that will be going out with our with the ballots. Mm-hmm. But I think the most thing that I have for the membership is the work that I've done, and the relationship that I've built with our current members.
Right. Thanks again.